From virtual gridiron greatness to midget hookers fighting over the last ounce of cocaine, this is the No Punt Intended Fantasy Football League News Hub. With coverage you can count on, and top stories and highlights from around the league, this is the No Punt Intended Fantasy Football League. And this preview of the second week of the 2022 No Punt Intended Fantasy Football season is brought to you by Home Chef. Let somebody else take the same ingredients you could have done something with your damn self and embarrass you at your own house because you were too fucking lazy to make it work on your own. And now, here's a word from your league commissioner. Hello everybody and welcome to the No Punt Intended Fantasy Football League News Hub. I'm your host and league commissioner, Rick Horn. And speaking of cooking, how about the Dallas Greenskins and Chicago Spirit Fingers? Wow. The Greenskins instantly found that rainbow connection to victory, making a strong statement in their league debut after scoring an impressive 141.76 fantasy points against the former league champion Bellingham Bimblas A's. Meanwhile, the Chicago Spirit Fingers were absolutely dominant in their own right in their Week 1 victory, scoring a league-high 151.5 fantasy points in the very first week of the season. The Spirit Fingers redeemed themselves in multiple ways in their Week 1 victory after finding themselves on the losing end of their league debut in the 2021 Week 1 Game of the Week matchup against the St. Louis Lot Lizards, and then this year battling the same team that sent them packing early during their first playoff appearance, the Constipated Leather Daddies. The Leather Daddies will now be responsible for waxing their chest hair into the shape of the Batman logo following their heartbreaking defeat to the Chicago Spirit Fingers. That's going to be painful. But nevertheless, at least the Leather Daddies were able to escape Midget Hooker of the Week honors. And now we'll see if the Leather Daddies can plug their assholes long enough to stop shitting themselves and earn their first victory of the season in the finale of a cross-league doubleheader against St. Louis Lot Lizards team owner Rick Horn. And with that, let's take a look at your Week 2 Game of the Week. It's time for the second game of the week of the 2022 No Punt Intended Fantasy Football season. In a matchup that we're calling the Battle of the Thunderfists, as the Guido Torpedoes get set for their home opener against the Emancipated Thunder Jockeys as both teams search for their first victory of the season. The newly minted Guido Torpedoes made a bold move in their inaugural season under their new team name, drafting wide receiver Cooper Kupp, number 2 overall in this year's draft, who absolutely slicked his hair back, pounded some more Jaeger bombs, and dominated in Week 1 to the tune of 31.8 fantasy points. It was just not enough, however, as the Guidos had to forget about winning in Week 1, becoming the first victim to fall prey to the Dallas Troll Hunters thanks to running back J.K. Dobbins being too fucking tired after doing cocaine off of Snooky's asshole and could not make it to the field in the Guido Torpedoes' trip to Dallas. Nevertheless, we'll see if the Guidos can pop their collars back up and fist bump harder than ever before into their rotund opponent's tight end. Meanwhile, the Emancipated Thunder Jockeys are winless for the first time in franchise history after a hard-fought losing effort to longtime rival Tom Schroeder, team owner of Carroll's Exotic Biters, in Week 1, as the whole world saw star running back Alvin Kamara drink far too much of the bitter Asgardian gourd to be able to finish the game in Week 1, while that no-good lying cheating bitch Carol Baskin got away with murder once again. Nevertheless, we'll see if the drunken fat-ass Thunderlords can get off their asses and put together a winning effort this time around, as this would surely be a detriment to the reputation of team owner Miles Hart's otherwise monstrous fantasy football resume. So what is at stake for the Week 2 Game of the Week bet in the second week of the 2022 No Punt Intended fantasy football season? Well, I'm glad you asked. The loser of this week's Game of the Week bet will have to start with 2 saltine crackers on each side of their mouth and sing I'm a Little Teapot. Once complete, the loser will have to add 1 more cracker to each side of their mouth and continue to sing I'm a Little Teapot, adding a cracker on each side thereafter until they can no longer add any more crackers into their mouths. This is shaping up to be an interesting but entertaining nonetheless Game of the Week bet, one that I know that we are all looking forward to, so we'll just have to stay tuned to see how that turns out. That does it for your highlights from the No Punt Intended Fantasy Football League News Hub. Be sure to check your lineups ahead of Sunday's games, and we will see you on the virtual gridiron.